Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Today's episode, powered by Hayabusa, is all about learning how to keep and gain momentum in your fights. All right, in today's episode, we're talking about gaining momentum. Just like any sport that you play, basketball, soccer, momentum plays in your favor. You want to gain momentum to kind of shut your opponent down. Now, it's easy to say to somebody, oh, you just got to throw more volume. Well, again, it's fighting. Your opponent's going to hit you back. They're going to counter back. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 different strategies on how to gain momentum and keep it. The biggest pet peeve that I have always is you'll get someone here, they'll land a nice combination, and then they reset all the time. And then they wait for their opponent to come back, right? At this point here now, it's like 1 for 1, right? We don't want to be 1 for 1, right? Just like any game. I scored, Matt scored. I want to be up 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. The more I can hit, okay, and attack, and then come again, attack again, and then if Matt attacks back then, at least I'm up at this point 2-1, okay? I want you to gain momentum, and I'm gonna teach you how to keep it in these 3 different strategies. So the first strategy that I talk a lot about here, it's about occupying space. Now, if you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced, this is a different understanding. I didn't really learn this concept until after my Nikki Holtzkin fight. I relied a lot on my power combinations to do my damage, but however, I realized once I started boxing a little bit more, you can't throw everything with a lot of power all the time. You have to change the intensity of your strikes, right? If you throw everything full power, right, 1, you're gonna expose yourself to get hit a little bit more, 2, it empties your gas tank a little bit more. But with kickboxing, right, whether amateur or professional, it's still 3 rounds, so it's more of the sprint than the marathon. Where boxing, right, they move a little bit more, they might take rounds off, probing shots, right, but they have 10 rounds to play, right? So the difference is the sprint versus the marathon, but we can still use a lot of those concepts from boxing and put them into MMA, to put them into kickboxing in these 3-round types of fights. So the first one is occupying space, right? If I'm just waiting here like this, it's gonna invite my opponent to attack, right? But now if I'm sitting here, what's happening and I'm touching, right? Part of me is gaining momentum, right? And at the same time, I'm keeping my opponent shelled up, right? As soon as I stop throwing, right, it's gonna make my opponent wanna throw back, and then at that point now we're playing that 1 for 1. I wanna stay up, I wanna keep that momentum, right? So when I'm occupying space, this is where my boxing is a little bit more controlled, right? I might still try to land, touch, kind of get the body, the defense moving, and then once I find something here, boom, bang, I might come back with my power shot, right? So I'm mixing the intensity, right? But I'm staying active by attacking, right? So a good offense is a good defense. So by me keeping here, touching, playing, right? I'm scoring. At the same time, I'm setting up power shots. Boom, 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 touching. And I'm staying relaxed in between, so I'm gaining momentum. So tip and tactic number 1, occupying space. Now, the second thing, right, this is gonna bring up the IQ level and the advancedness of the technique. We play counter the counter, right? Because in realistic fighting, someone's gonna punch back. So if you're fighting someone and you're keeping them pinned in here, eventually they're gonna get annoyed and they're gonna wanna counter, so then they're gonna come back, okay? And then I'm gonna counter back. So that's what we call counter the counter. So by staying here, feinting, I get a reaction, I can block, and then I attack. Now, whoever you fight has something called a counter tendency. And what a counter tendency is, a lot of people kind of rely on one counter when they're in trouble. Some people like to bomb the rear hand. Some people shell their hands, throw a hook. Maybe a little bit more experienced kickboxers or Muay Thai fighters might block and rip hard kicks after that. So you kind of watch and you study your opponent to see what are they throwing. If you're continually occupying space and you get caught with a lead hook, boom, right? Okay, I have to know now that's the shot I got to be aware of. So when I'm occupying space, look where my hand is, right? I'm touching, waiting for him to throw it. Now I have a hard block, boom, and I can counter and attack that way, okay? So counter the counter. But remember what I said in point tip number 1 with occupying space. You have to change the intensity of your punches, right? If I'm, for example, digging so hard and trying to rely on power and I drop my hand and then the counter comes, I'm gonna get caught, right? So I need to make sure I change the intensity, wait for the block, and then power in my counter, okay? That's the safest way to stay safe. And if you think about it, right now, me touching here, right? I'm up 1-0. Matt throws, he tries to even it up. No, boom, boom, boom. Now all of a sudden 2-0 me. Now, at this point now, right, depending on my energy level, right, I have the option for tactic 3, okay? And what tactic 3 is, using hand pins and angles. So after I come here, maybe I'm lighting, occupying, the counter comes, I block it, I counter, and then I hand pin and I angle, right? And by hand pinning and angle, I can keep him shelled up and continuing to attack. And that is one of the most frustrating positions you can be in. When you're shelled up and all of a sudden your opponent's here, 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 and you don't know where they are and they're cracking your guard, you become very frustrated. Now, right away, I know what you guys are thinking. Which boxer does that the best? Lomachenko, right? You have no idea. Loma's gonna be here. He might be here. He might be here. He attacks here. He feints, comes here, right? He changes you all the time by hand pinning, keeping you busy, and using those different types of angles, okay? So that is a beautiful way. Now, the beautiful thing about hand pins, right, and creating those angles, right, you shut down the counter. So if I attack here, right, and I'm occupying space, and I know Matt likes that counter, I might pin here right away and keep moving away and attacking off of this way. Now he's gonna have to defend his head before he can counter. Next thing you know, I'm kind of attacking and hitting on angles. The best position you wanna be to really hurt somebody, right? If Matt's lined up here, I wanna be here. Right here, our forearms are matched, right? So this way, it's easy for him to block. But when I kind of step over and take this angle, I can take it with a hand pin if I want, or if I come on this side. Now, my forearms, right? Matt's lead forearm is in between mine, which means now I have inside and outside very easily. As he turns towards me, I turn again, and he goes again. And then eventually I can switch over to the other side and attack and go this way. So my opponent at this point ends up having to follow and chase me, okay? So if I put this together in a big system, right, I can be here. I can be occupying space, scoring, catching momentum. Counter comes, I counter the counter, hand pin and angle. Keep coming around, hand pinning here, pushing up, attacking, coming here, okay? You can see here, and at this point, I'm gaining momentum and my opponent's frustrated, staying shelled up. So the concept of gaining momentum with these 3 tactics, very important, okay? Occupying space, counter the counter, hand pins and angles, okay? Remember, like any sport, the more momentum you have, the more in favor the game's gonna go your way, okay? Hope you enjoyed today's episode, which was powered by Hayabusa. Make sure you check out their T3 boxing gloves, as well as the link in the description below to get your own gear. We have Perfect Sports Nutrition. Using code Bazooka20, you can get 20 off your supplements. And last but not least, bazookatraining.com, where you get online curriculum taught by me, and you have an archive library of over 200 videos, plus 4 brand new videos every single Monday morning, right? Home videos, bag workouts, sparring drills, and tutorials for less than $10 a month. You can't beat that, okay? And you get learning concepts, curriculum, all taught by me. I just taught you 3 concepts: occupying space, counter the counter, and hand pins and angles. Guess what? I have lessons all built in there for you in a system, in a curriculum that'll help you put everything together, all right? bazookatraining.com, and we'll see you next time here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Welcome to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA online training. I'm Bazooka Joe Valtellini, the owner here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Over the past year, I've designed and created a website to teach Bazooka curriculum at home and across the world. The purpose of this website is for you to, 1, hit your fitness and health goals, all while learning world-class martial arts instruction from me. The beautiful thing about this website, it's geared for all levels. So if you're learning martial arts for the first time as a beginner, we help you progress into the bigger stages. And if you're a pro fighter, guess what? We have different fight concepts for you to improve your tool set and your skills in the ring or cage. As the fastest rising kickboxing world champion and a lifelong martial artist with over 30 years of experience, I've been able to combine my passion for martial arts and teaching to create this website. This website's gonna give you some of the tricks, secrets, and inside look at some of the training I use to win my world title. Once you subscribe to this site, you're gonna be getting weekly training videos and tutorials that you can do from anywhere. The sections are broken up into 3 parts. The first is bag workout. So if you have a bag at home or at your gym, you can use these workouts to supplement your training. The second is at-home workouts. A lot of us don't have the room for a bag or a bag in general, so these workouts are for no equipment needed and you can do them anywhere. And finally, the tutorial section. If you're having any problems with a specific technique or fight concept that's covered in any of the workouts, go to the tutorial section, learn the technique, and then go back to the workout, and this time, do it with proper technique. One of the added benefits once you subscribe is the forums section, where you can get a more personalized experience where you can ask questions